My mom told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Noonas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Natalia.
And I'm Sky.
And the little joke we were telling before we started recording is that I'm the healthiest I've ever been. That's clearly a joke. I'm extremely sick right now. So if I sound like a 90-year-old chain smoker from like South Jersey, that's my inner self, I guess.
Her new persona.
Yeah, it's a new persona. Call me Bessie. I feel like that's like a real good name for someone who sounds like me. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. This would have actually been what fortuitous timing it would have been if we'd done like medical dramas, but no. Today we're here to talk about legal dramas that we like. We're just gonna chat about legal dramas that we like, about dramas about lawyers and judges and stuff. So that's what we're gonna do, because we're gonna have a good time.
It's not gonna be as structured. We're not gonna like do like
Top
here's
two
our
picks
one pick or whatever.
No.
We're not doing that.
We're just gonna chat about stuff we like, just share shows we think you might want to check out in a very free-spirited, chill sort of way.
We're trying to make
that is
Natalia
all,
not
that is
talk.
all Natalia can handle.
Sorry.
Listen, I do watch a lot of legal dramas. It is one of all of the genres that I like. But for anyone new to the podcast, I like everything. I and watch anything. So I'm sort of like bad for these sorts of things. Someone's like, "Oh yeah, I got like 50. Don't worry about it." And then today I'm gonna let other people do some heavy lifting for me. So.
Well, I could preface with, so part of the reason that we thought, oh, let's go ahead and do that this month is it's still my birthday month or whatever, and I quite often joke about, I didn't know that I liked legal dramas until I started watching Asian dramas, and then I kind of just fell into it, like, again and again, and then eventually I just had to admit to myself, okay, if there's a lawyer as the central character, there's a likelihood I'm going to check that out.
Yeah.
And I figured out it's pretty much and I call it two sides of the same coin, kind of lawyer prosecutor type character, and on the other side of the coin is like con artists, which like you
And
may ask how
they intersect quite often, or they are the same person.
As far as like why does that intersect? Because they're really good at talking. Like that's really what it comes. They can schmooze.
She likes
really
a good schmooze,
usually.
you know.
I guess they're fun characters to watch. So a good example of it intersecting would be the drama Switch Changed the World. Which, that's a crazy... Has anyone else watched this?
No, it's on my list, but I haven't gotten around to it yet.
Same.
Okay. So Switch Changed the World. It stars Jang Suk, which like... Yeah.
Great actor.
Of course. And he plays a dual role of they're not twins, they're not related. Why they're doppelgangers? No one knows. They
sometimes
just
you
are.
just have a doppelganger. Like it's just listen, in fiction that just happens sometimes, you know?
So, and essentially one of the characters is a con artist and the other character is like a really uptight, very straight-laced prosecutor type. And so, to preface, lawyer and prosecutor, in case you are unaware, at least in Korean dramas, there's a lot of
different.
And sometimes, like, often prosecutors are starting to pretty much be police officer, like detective-y, there's a lot of back and forth. So, a lot of what we're going to talk about is we're trying to focus on courtrooms, like, legal side, but, like, sometimes there's a lot of play with this stuff. But, so this is an example of one that he is kind of probably a little bit more copy. Like, prosecutor
ACAB, baby.
But it's a fun drama. That's why I wanted to bring it up. Switch Changed the World. It is a fun drama. Because the two characters are very opposing. And pretty much right off the bat, it's not that you just have two characters. It's, one gets into a really bad accident. And then the con artist pretends to be the prosecutor for a very large part of the show. So there you be. So it's, of course, he's free-spirited and all that, and he's trying to not act like that. So it's pretty fun.
Another one which has like a prosecutor, but then a prosecutor becoming a lawyer, and it's one that I personally love because I've watched it about 5 times because one of the actors reminds me of my dead father, of whom I have very fond memories, is Suspicious Partners.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Listen, if you like shows with abrupt tonal shifts that just absolutely take you by surprise and how crazy a shift this is going to take without warning at all, Suspicious Partners takes you on a ride for the first episode. It sets up a first episode expectation of tone, which the second episode proceeds to completely destroy and make a completely new show. So, like, the show really, but when I say first episode, I actually mean the first 2 episodes, because this was one of those shows that took place during that brief year where they started doing half an hour episodes.
Yeah,
like, so you would have 4 episodes a week instead of 2. That was bullshit. Everyone hated it. Nobody liked it.
I love it lasted like so little. It was like,
Just like-
It reminds me of that meme from that game, and it says everyone hated that. Like,
Yeah.
as far as
Like,
plot.
legit, everyone hated that. It was awful to witness. So when you look at it and you're like, holy shit, this show has 40 episodes, it doesn't. It has 20 episodes. Because each episode has a break into 2. But the first 2 episodes of that lead you to believe you're about to watch an extremely whimsical rom-com, with some prosecutors, and then a horrible. This is not even that much of a spoiler. If it happens in the first 2 episodes, it's not a spoiler.
Yeah.
The main female lead's boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, is horribly murdered in her apartment, and then the show takes a wild turn into actually being like a hard-boiled serial killer law drama
with whimsical moments.
With whimsical sexy romance. Like, listen, the romance in it is pretty sexy. I'm gonna be real.
pretty sexy
drama.
It's one of those dramas that's like, why are we being so romantic?
Listen, the romance is nice if you're into that sort of thing, but when I tell you the wild, like the crime,
It gets dark.
theme is so dark. It's so dark, but like I really like it. Like,
A lot of people really like it. So.
yeah,
It was very popular when it.
Yeah.
it is one of my top-rated dramas that I've watched multiple times because like the acting in it is fantastic. You gotta give it that. Like, and
The
even
crimey guy, he's so good.
He's so good. I'm not even gonna say who it is, because that's actually a bit of a
But
twist.
the crimey guy's good.
But later in the second half, like when you find out the villain, he's great. But like, even the comedy parts, they're not so over the top that you're like, what are we doing here? Like, they're within the realm of reality that you're like, okay, like, sure. But no, it is love it. I love this show. You can watch it on Viki. You can watch it on Coco.
But really quickly, you mentioned the character that reminds you of your dad, so
Yes.
at least talk about him for a second.
Yes. So one of the characters is like the adoptive father of Ji Chang-wook, and he's played by Lee Jak-hwa, who a lot of people know because he's the one who has the hilarious wig that he wears all the time, and he's a delight, and I love him because if you're his character in this show, if you're wondering who's the man who was the primary caregiver of Natalia that turned her into this, just imagine, because my dad was really old when I was born. This is a fun little thing about Natalia. My dad was in his late 70s when I was born. Early 70s. My apologies. And so he was very ancient upon getting old Natalia. I'm adopted, if you're wondering what this old man had. And that's exactly what his character acts like in this, is what my dad was. And I was watching this around my mom, and my mom was like, deadpan Terry. That's like, my dad wasn't a lawyer, he was an engineer, but like, same guy. Like, it's uncanny. He's also in Business Proposal, where he's playing essentially the same character in Business Proposal.
With suits, like fancier suits.
Yeah, with nicer suits and more money. And it's literally, like, if my dad never wore a suit in his life, but, like, that's the guy. So anyway, I get very fond joy out of watching Suspicious Partners, and also I love a good crime. So
it is a very, like, it is heavier on the crime. Like, I thought to its benefit, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Like, it like, a lot of, you know, when there's, like, a romance mixed with crime, often it, like, forgets that it's a crime.
Yeah.
And it just goes into, like... And so, this one, it really never forgets. Like, even when you think, like, okay, like, we're about to, like... Okay, they've been doing a lot of, you know, romantic shit. Suddenly,
things.
like, something horrible will happen. And
Like,
you're just
nope,
like,
bye.
oh, okay, we're still in a crime. Got it. Got it. I'm a big fan.
So do not start watching it thinking
It's
just be
rom-com.
It's not.
Like, you'll get a lot of, like, rom-com. Like, you will get a lot. But it's, like, it's a real balance between, like, really comedic, sexy romance and then horrible crime.
I will say, I don't know if I've seen a drama that really keeps both of those lines at the same, as much, as far as a lot, keeping the crime, like, always bringing it back, like, no, this is actually scary. Like, bad things are actually happening.
I mean,
I
haven't seen Suspicious Partner, but Come and Hug Me would probably be that.
Yeah.
Because it goes...
But see, Come and Hug Me doesn't do,
it's
like,
not
the comedy.
rom-com.
Yeah, it doesn't
It's
do
not
the
at all.
comedy.
It's romance. So you get, like, romance times, like, really sweet, like, caring moments and, like, dates and stuff. And then Dad's a serial killer. So...
While you were sleeping, that one did a pretty solid job of like fun rom-com-y found family stuff, but also crime was occurring and they were solving crimes, and some of the crime was relatively intense. You were like, murders were happening.
You know, I gotta give While You Were Sleeping props for being the most creative way to have a shooting scene without a gun that I've ever seen in my life. And you'll have to watch it to figure out what I'm talking about, because I'm not gonna give it away.
I've only watched so far into that show, so I'm so puzzled.
I remember watching it and being like, okay, that is
very creative one. It's a very creative show and a very beautifully shot.
Yeah, it's
show.
really
like,
nice.
Gorgeous
Soundtrack incredible.
scenes, like absolutely gorgeous scenes, and the romance is romancing, and the crime is criming. Like it's doing a very good job of. You've got the in-court scenes that seem reasonably, I mean, television realistic for court. You know, like but. There's some good stuff going on in that one. Yeah. And you know, I still hear people talk about that one.
Yeah, people really, like, I really liked it when I watched it.
And stuff, so.
But I think the only one I can think of that, if we're going for, like, crime comedy balance, would probably be Vincenzo. Is the only one I can think of that really was hard on the comedy. But it is a very specific type of comedy that I think is a very particular, like, type of comedy. Like, it is kind of dark comedy. Like, it's not it's not like your regular, like, there is, like, you know, like pratfalls and stuff like you would see, but, like, it's all very dark at the same time, but it is a clever little show. So, and also the villain be villaining, okay? Like I'm not gonna. I want to spoil things for people who haven't seen Vincenzo, but that twist though, like, of course,
the twist is like great. The twist was
is real
executed
good.
perfectly, and I was like, "This
executed
is everything I wanted." Like at that moment, I was like, "Yes, I'm here for this entire drama, no matter what."
Yeah.
Is it about halfway through? See, like, I haven't even done it halfway.
It's like 4 episodes, I think.
No, it's
really?
a little bit further than that. It's a little bit.
I feel like it's
that.
definitely not like past 8.
Okay.
It's like
No,
fairly
it's not,
early on in the show.
Like where
so
you
you get
find
to
out
have the villain for a very long time.
For,
like it's not just
and those of you,
the villain.
And he's a
If you're curious about that, do not go digging into social media because you will get
don't
spoiled.
spoil it for yourself.
Because I accidentally have spoiled myself just because.
Listen, I didn't even accidentally.
I know.
The thing about it's being chronically online is that when you watch a show that has a twist in it, if you make the goddamn mistake of going on Twitter the day that the show comes, the episode posts, everyone
the hour it drops.
Yeah, listen, if The Sixth Sense came out this year, everyone would know the twist before they made it into the theater.
Right? Yeah.
People cannot just wait a couple days.
They really can't.
To let people catch up or just tag it. They untag. They just tag your shit.
You do it, Leanne. It's purposeful. It's not
yeah.
I'm sorry. It's not always.
It's becoming. It's listen, if there's a big twist, just maybe fucking keep it to yourself for a week.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Just let
it's
people.
It's not hard.
Yeah.
It's also it's really easy, especially if you have closer friends, to be like, hey, have you watched it yet? No. Okay. Well, let me know when you're done so I can talk to you about it.
I actually yesterday, see, Sky and I are kind of laughing because yesterday something happened in the show Sweet Mobster that Sky and I are both enjoying. I think Amanda's enjoying it as well. Mm-hmm. Something happened. I won't say what. And I got really excited. And I was about to be like, Sky, you won't believe it. And I was like, no, Natalia. Just so instead I texted.
I think I know what you're talking about. Twitter spoiled
Yep. And I was like, Sky, I was like, something on this episode made me go, oh my god, and just let me know when.
And you know what? It. That that happened. Someone spoiled it before it even aired too. It was
which is wild.
I was they pulled a clip, and I was
Luckily, I did not check Twitter before watching it.
I mean, it's not gonna faze me, but I still am well, if I saw it, then someone else saw it. That's actually watching the show.
Yeah, so maybe wait a couple days at the very least. Just
looking at
hold
you,
it in. Yeah, Vicky.
Social media. Stop posting about stuff you haven't put the subs on yet. Sure. Come on.
Also, even so, for the record, it doesn't even have to just be plot points. It can just be kind of a fun little thingy. Let people see the fun little thingy.
Watch it.
Right? This thing wasn't a plot point. It was just something that happened in the show.
And quite often it's that's kind of the joy of watching a show. It's even the little things that seeing that for yourself and being kind of surprised, oh, that's hilarious timing wise that something happened like that or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a little soapbox of that.
Yeah. But bringing it back to Vincenzo, I gotta say, Vincenzo, I think, is a very particular show because a lot of people in the drama watching community don't like watching shows where the main characters are bad people. And it's very important. Listen, it's very important to remember that almost everyone in the show Vincenzo is a bad person.
Yeah,
but you still root for them. They are an anti-hero type. So keep that in mind, is that you're but he's a mobster, yes. But there's a worse people out there, you know. He's bad, but he's not that bad comparatively, you know.
No. I think one of the favorite dramas, for most people, when you're talking about a prosecutor drama, is going to be Stranger, because the main lead, Cho Sung-woo's character, is a prosecutor, and he teams up with a detective, it's played by Bae Doona, for this massive case that starts with a stabbing of this young girl. It's a super dark, completely no comedy, completely no romance type series, but it's always on the top of people's list, even when they don't watch that genre. And it's just really interesting, and you do see a lot more of what prosecutors do in terms of collecting information on their side. So it's less about court and more about finding out, but in a kind of more document trail based, as opposed to watching the investigation happen from the investigated detective, which you still see because they pair up so much together and they're always together, so you do see him do stuff that the police officer is going to do, but it's mostly that, and also because it like deals a lot with just like a web of lies and a web of politics and that sort of thing, and it just like kind of really ingrains in everything, and like the series does a really good job kind of like rolling out all that, like because you start off with this like very like brutal murder, and then like you just kind of think that's like it, or like maybe we're dealing with serial killers, and then it becomes this like massive different thing. And there are a lot of other like characters that you're like like terrible people who are just like terrible to be terrible and swarmy, and the like regular lawyer, you know, meanness. So it's really good. It's one of my favorite dramas.
It's one of those that I keep meaning to watch and then I get distracted.
Oh my gosh,
so,
you would love
you know
it.
what,
I like honestly don't think. Yeah,
it's on Netflix, right?
Yeah, I feel like the first season is definitely the second season. There is the second season. Yeah. I think I watched the first season on Netflix. If not, I watched it on Viki, and then they got it.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
You know how stuff floats around.
Because I am going on vacation next week.
It's definitely like you'll love it. Like I told him.
Yeah. So
yeah. It's they're so good together. Their chemistry is great together. And he's very focused and like doesn't like to be like doing stuff out of the order or like, you know, messing up things, and like he's just very straight kind of person. And she's much more kind of free and gets him to do like stuff that he normally wouldn't do, which is like also like a fun thing with like the, you know, because like the persecutors, they always show their like team. So like it's, you know, the top person who will be like representing everything and doing the major things, but then you have the team that's like going out to do little stuff or calling or filing stuff and that sort of thing, and they're just like they're a fun little group because they like see his change and they're like, wait, what? What is going on? You're actually like going out and not staying here and doing everything by the book, which is like also like a really fun thing to add to the what is the overall story, because he's not he's the person everyone thinks they can count on to just play by the rules and play by the book and not do things that he shouldn't do, or like look into other things, so therefore secrets can be kept, which I'm pretty sure the like other title of it's like Forest of Secrets or something.
Forest
like
of
that.
Secrets.
Yeah.
It is on Netflix. In Canada anyway, I've confirmed, which means I shall be downloading it on the old tablet.
It's fantastic. They're so good
vacation.
together. There is only one thing that like it's like gives you pause, but they don't really bring it up anyways. He had brain surgery when he was little. It's the first thing you see, but like they don't really. It's like they make it a big thing like this first episode, and you're like, but then it's not a thing. So like it's weird because it's like kind of almost set you up. I was like, is it gonna be sci-fi after this? Like what's going on? It's not. It's just straight drama, like real, like nobody has superpowers here.
Oh.
I will say, Choi Sung-woo also starred in another lawyer drama on Netflix that I thought was quite good, but I feel like it was a little bit polarizing on the old Twitter anyway, which was Divorce Attorney Shin. I really liked it. It was only a 12 episode thing where he plays, get this, a divorce attorney.
Yeah.
No.
Yes.
Really?
Whose name is Shin Sung-han. So it's named after him.
I see.
It's basically like that. Listen, I can't really say anything other than that because like 12 episodes, they pack a lot of plot into those 12 episodes. But I really enjoyed it. I thought he did a really excellent job. But I will say there is some content warnings, like for like domestic abuse, that sort of thing, because he's
like what's the tone of the drama?
The tone is realistic. If you like, like it feels like these are real people, like who are, like for like one of the first cases he takes is a woman who's trying to divorce her extremely abusive husband. Who's using, it's been a while since I watched it when it first came out, which was last March, So, and I think it was like she had an affair on him, so he's using that to try to get custody of her kids. But then, like, you find out it wasn't like a, you know, it was a desperation situation. Anyway, it's excellent show. I really enjoyed it. Very different tone than a lot of the other legal dramas, because I find that's a part of the fun of legal dramas is how over the top they can get. And this one was like, we're not doing that. We're very like, this is just real people, like just in horrible situations, you know? But I really liked it.
One that I will say is probably more over the top, but not in like a funny way, in like a maybe a sidestep to Mahjong, but it's not like way over in Mahjong land. It's just like enough intensity to be like, oh, not as realistic. Why Her is such a good drama. It is. So, as far as how this is a legal drama, the lead actress is Sohyun Jin. She plays I'm making sure I'm going to get her title right here. She's one of the country's best lawyers. And her character name is Oh Soo Jae. And then she's also like, she also teaches, kind of forced to teach at a
like an
law school situation.
Yeah.
And but as far as being one of the country's top lawyers, she definitely like plays for the guys with big bucks. Like she is a very moneyed.
The company that she works at is also very moneyed. Like it's like,
yeah,
this is you go in only with millions of dollars to spend on your legal team.
Right.
And so at first you're kind of like, and I'm not going to spoil anything. I can't even remember like all the details. It's a very detailed thing. But there's way more to her wanting to be in that position than you think, is what kind of gets revealed at least. And so there's a lot going on with, so then there's some law students that are involved that kind of play into some stuff too. So it's fascinating as far as showing a little bit of that. As far as how realistic, I would not know about law school and things like that, but it's really fascinating. I can't even remember. I don't think there's a lot of courtroom. I feel like there's a lot of like just stuff.
No, it's definitely also, there are the type of lawyers that are like hush moneying things and intimidating.
A lot of corruption
people.
stuff.
It's a lot of corruption. It's a lot of like business people. I mean, like it's people with money who can do this, and nobody's going to bat an eye in society because they are the top and they're not going to do anything. So that like is definitely where it kind of like lends into the not showing stuff. I feel like a lot of like the times they might have shown it, because it's also been a while since I've like watched the first bit of it, was like flashbacks of her when she was younger and first in the company. They might have put her in those positions because they would have put the younger good looking people on stand as opposed to any of like the older like lawyers. And they're also like, you know, older lawyers who want somebody to do the bare minimum and still get their billions of dollars.
Yeah.
I guess I do remember they do show her character like interacting with a prisoner at some point. So I mean, they show a little bit of that type of thing, like one of her much earlier cases. But it was really fascinating, but not as far as like, oh, I'm learning so much about law by any means. It's more of it's intense. You get really like. The show is very much, it's showing corruption because corruption sucks and like wanting to take it down essentially. And just as a asterisk, because I'm always going to have to do this, yes, the pedophile actor is in it. He has a smaller role. He does get some screen time though.
Yeah.
He is one of the main bad guys, but he's like a secondary. So I mean, he's always like a tag along with the other bad guys. It's not like he doesn't get his own shebang all the time.
They gotta stop hiring
he does
that
exist
guy.
in it. In fact, if you fast forwarded through every time you would be fine in this.
Yeah,
one.
it would
you would
not
actually be able to do that.
And there are twists and turns in this show too. Like, so it's not like a show that you fast forward through, but you could still fast forward through him and be fine with
He's
it.
not
Because he's
important.
not like the main. He's not the
important,
main big bad. So like you could just he's on screen, make it go away. Like just each time you'd be totally fine. But I really do highly recommend it if you like intense stuff. I do think you'd get it like, and it kind of big happenings right off the bat, and then they kind of have to like rewind like what happened to bring us to this point, and then you finally get back to that point, and then okay from there what happens, like that type of a thing. But I loved the tone of it. I mean, you have to be in the right headspace for something like that, but like I really did like it.
I would say on the way opposite end of that would be the Law Cafe with Lee Seung-gi and what's her last name? I can't remember. Se-young. Oh goodness, I can't. Lee Se-young, and it's like a comedy, but it also does deal with things like domestic abuse and child abuse and things like that, but in a much lighter framework. But it, as opposed to being a legal show about the muckety mucks, the people who can afford big legal teams and stuff. This is a drama about a woman who basically looks at the legal system and says, there are too many people who are getting the short end of the stick just because they can't afford legal fees. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my savings and open a cafe where I have a law office in the back, and I will give out legal advice to people in the community who need it, who can't afford to pay hundreds of dollars just to ask you if I have a case, right? Like, I'm going to come in, get a coffee, have a chat with you, and then we'll see where we go from there, kind of thing. And Lee Seung-gi plays a character who was a prosecutor. He was a really good prosecutor. His dad was in stuff, and he wound up leaving. And now he's just like a slouchy landlord dude who, you know, wears tracksuits all the time. And
incredibly frustrating character for a while.
Very.
Incredibly frustrating. But he does that so well. He does frustrating so well.
That's his wheelhouse, really.
You know, they make a lead like that. They're like, let's call him up. Let's see if he'd be interested in this one.
And these two have been in, like, I think they were in something together before, and people really enjoyed their chemistry. So it's nice seeing them in something again together. They
Korean
really
Odyssey.
Well.
Yeah, they were both in it.
So, and she was so good in that they like buffed up her side character into a main plot, and they liked watching them together. So this is the whole drama of them playing off of each other, and it's very good, and it's very fun. Like, it's just, there are darker bits, like I said, there's some you know, child abuse and stuff that goes on, but it's very much there's always a happy ending. Like, everything comes around okay in the end, kind of, and the romance and this, you know, and the found family of nonsense of, you know, the Ajumas in the neighborhood and all that kind of stuff. So it's got a lot of the comedy, it's got the quirkiness to it, but it does also deal with legal situations, and they don't go to court a whole lot because a lot of what she deals with is not having to go to court. Let me get this sorted out before we get there, because she's like, court takes a long time. It takes a lot of money. Most of these people don't have that time or that money, right? They gotta get their landlord on board now. They gotta get this stuff dealt with now. So I'm going to figure out how to get these situations worked out without costing you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Let's see if we can do this for $100 and just get it done, right? Yeah. So, which is nice. You're kind of like, yes, that would be good. More legal system like that would be excellent for some people, right? Not for everything, obviously. There are some cases that need more than that.
Yeah, but just more work,
sometimes you'd like to just be able to just get it done.
Yeah.
So
I will tag off of that. So kind of as far as a lawyer, like going for like not much money. I have not watched the entire thing yet, just because I'm me. But $1 Lawyer.
I did start that. I enjoyed what I saw.
Yeah, I have liked. How far am I? Let's see. Let's click this.
4.
3 episodes in.
Oh.
I've rewatched the first episode like a time or two because I keep trying to restart it again. But as far as like, it's definitely like the lead lawyer is very much used to be a prosecutor is another aspect of that, but now people kind of you can tell people sometimes kind of think he's sketchy just because he will even deal with like, you know, kind of shady characters and stuff to get things done. But he like, you know, a kid will be concerned about his grandpa and okay, do you pretty much have $1? Let's go see what's going on with this moneyed guy bullying your little security guard grandfather and you're afraid for his safety. Like that type of situation. And it's funny because very smarmy. So like, as far as it is, Nam Gung Men. So of course that's why.
Great.
So, he really plays up the.
I think we all think he's neat.
Do not be shocked if there's someday an episode about him.
Be shocked that we haven't done it yet.
Forewarning, next year maybe. Like so. Anyway, but like his character, despite the fact that he's usually dealing with like very normal people, but he's always wearing like crazy suits. Like that's an aspect that's like it's really funny to watch this guy's fashion, and it is based on like a webtoon thing. So like his hair, it's all like based on, you know, the drawn character, and it's very flashy, crazy glasses, the whole thing. But also the way he handles people, he kind of starts soft quite often, and then but as far as when he starts talking against people that he's kind of arguing with just to kind of scare them or intimidate them, it's fun to just kind of watch him take them to town and just scare the bejesus out of them. Like, you don't want to go to court, I'm pretty sure. A lot of threatening. I like threatening for, you know, the impoverished guy. Like it's pretty fun.
Sure.
Yeah.
I know when we were looking up the stuff for this, I saw the poster for Chief Kim and I was like, that one, and there was like, no, that's not a lawyer drama.
I know there were a lot of ones that was like, can I strip it?
That's an accountant drama.
Yeah. I mean, lawyers, I guess, always show up anyways. But if you liked the students aspect of Why Her, like that aspect, then you'll really like Law School. It's on Netflix. And it is entirely surrounding an actual law school where it's a very prestigious one. So like everybody has money. But something happens, I'm not going to tell you what, at the school, which like kind of disrupts everything. And so essentially what the teachers and the students are kind of faced to take on the role of lawyers a bit like more than they would, because they're just students at this point. They're not even like lower juniors at like a firm. And so it like does follow them and how they do their lawyer stuff just as students. And while there is like stuff about the main central thing, they do kind of do like little one-offs about like other cases that kind of like involve the students. It kind of goes into more of like, it's like student government almost. Like when you see like dramas where they have like the student government and they actually do their like full-on like investigations and stuff, it's kind of like how it like falls into. It's like dark, and there are dark things and like very much like trigger warnings for like sexual assault and like stuff like that, but it still has comedy in it, and it's got like a ton of characters in it, and it does like, it's very much like none of this is real, because like none of this they would ever let this happen in legalities, but like the students are just kind of like doing their own thing. I've never watched the drama or the US drama How to Get Away with Murder, but everybody compared it to that, at least in like the type of drama. I do not think that they share the same like storyline or anything, but if you liked that, then you will probably like this drama. You know, and it just has like some bumps in it. Like it has just like a good amount of you. Like
that's all I gotta say.
It's a variety of people, and so like if you
Yeah.
really like characters, like a rotating cast, so you see them like constantly just like you know, like moving around different characters, this is definitely a show that you'd want to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Cool.
One of the ones, were you Natalia? Okay. One of the ones that I really like that was probably one of my earlier like legal dramas is Miss Hammurabi, which is not about lawyers as much as it's about the judges. And
that's right.
It's a really interesting look at that behind the scenes stuff that goes on with the judges, and a good look at the legal system in Korea, because I was unaware that they, generally speaking, don't have jury trial in Korea. And they have 3 judges on every court case. So, and the 3 judges work together to come up with the right answer, kind of thing. So it's a really interesting drama because it tells you about what's going on in that. It's also a very feminist drama. Most of the cases are very much about women in the workplace, things that like, there's a lot of stuff that goes on with this main character about what is struggles that she faces that her male coworkers do not face, because and they're like, no, but you should, and she's like, but I'm just doing my job. Like, but when my male coworker, who is the exact same age as me, does the same thing, nobody can complain. But when I do it, then I'm being
suddenly it's a problem,
slutty or rude or whatever, right? And I'm just doing my job, so I'm just gonna keep on doing my job. And luckily, she has a head judge who, like, in her office, who's very supportive of her right to do her job. So that's good. And it has, I mean, there is a really, really good side character romance in it that's fantastic. And then they sort of shoehorn some romance in for the main characters, and you're like, did we need to do that? Not, but like, so don't go there for the romance.
They can't help themselves. They
but as a very solid, very like daily kind of, it's not a lot of like heavy cases. It's more a lot of like sexual harassment in the workplace and things like that. There's some cases, I think it's been a while since I watched it, but some of the cases are a little heavier, but it's not a scary drama. You're not like on the edge of your seat because serial killers or anything like that. Like it's just very, here's how the courtrooms work, and here's how sucky the legal system is for women in Korea. And here's, you know, so there was a lot of really interesting, the writer for that was actually a lawyer or a judge or worked in a judge's office or something. So they knew what they were talking about. And they kind of self-inserted themselves as Lee Elijah, like her character.
Listen, it's fine, you know.
If you insert character and you were like, oh, I'd like her to play me. Like, oh, okay, sure. What? Like,
listen, we'd all do it. Okay, like we all pretend like we wouldn't, but we would. You know.
Just imagine this like 45-year-old woman, and they're like, "Who do you want to play the you character?" And she's like, "Her." And they're like,
"Listen,
yeah,
who wouldn't self-insert as Lee Elijah?" Right? Okay, let's just all admit it. We all would. Okay.
In that show, her hair is like
beautiful,
stunning, so good.
Speaking of judges, there's a show that just from beginning to end, just an absolute nail biter of a good time. And that's
with your current,
Yeah,
with
your
my
current voice.
I'm really selling it. I gotta say, I gotta take you to the 2021 definitely gay, even though Korea doesn't want it to be. The Devil Judge. Oh boy, are you in for a treat with this one? It's got it all.
Boy.
It's got everything. It's got a definite old man Yowie vibe, if you're into that. It's got just evil intentions. It's got sexy, maybe evil lady. We love to see it. It's got Ji-sung. It's got Jin Young. It's got it all. Basically, it's in like a dystopian Korea that's just Korea, okay? Like, it's just modern Korea. Like, they keep saying it's in a dystopian version, but it's literally just Korea, okay?
What's the difference? Come on.
Where there's this, like, it's like society, daily life is chaos, and society has collapsed where people openly voice their distrust and hatred of their leaders. That's just Korea, okay? Like, I don't know what we're doing here. But regardless, there's like, they decide to do like TV judging for some reason to like instill like a sense of law and order back into the land because criminals have been getting away with too much. And Ji-sung's character, who's just this like crotchety rich judge, is put in charge of it. And then he and his new co-judge, Jin Young, who's an up-and-comer, new to the judge world, start a real weird relationship that's not gay, but like anyone who has eyes watching it is like, all right.
Now,
Sure.
Isn't there a story on why you started watching this drama?
Wasn't it for your year thing? I thought it was for
yes,
that.
I watched it for our 12 for 12 last year.
I thought that she saw a fan edit, a super gay fan edit.
No,
I thought that's what happened.
But there's like thousands of them.
There's thousands. As soon as I started, see, the best part was I hadn't actually seen any of those until I started watching it, and then they were everywhere, and I was like, I am blessed. What a perfect thing to happen to me. No, it is. I know that I'm selling it as some sort of gay utopic thing, which it is, but it also is a really tense thriller. And like, you're like, is he evil? Is he not evil? Like, will they make it out alive?
Will they kiss? Who knows?
Will they kiss? Like, listen, if you watch the behind the scenes of the poster photography, Ji-sung really did think they might be. Like, listen, he read the script and he was like, I'm gonna play this.
That's my motivation.
He's like, I'm gonna play this as gay as possible. And no one told him no.
Do you think he told Jin Young at all?
No, because like in the behind the scenes of like the poster, he's like, no, get closer, like we're lovers, come on. And Jin Young's like, okay. And I'm like,
so here's the thing, Jin Young's an idol,
this.
So he's gonna pick up on this anyway. So he'll be like,
yeah, that's true.
I've got this.
Planning this
yeah,
from
it's like,
the beginning.
Yeah, I know this. Yeah,
but like,
it's my industry. Let's do this.
I don't
fan service. Got it. Yeah, I got it.
I don't say this lightly because Ji-sung's body of work is incredible, but I truly think Devil Judge is his defining role.
Okay,
like he's that good in it, and he's made a lot of bangers. So like, if I'm saying, and I've watched most of them, so like, if I'm saying that, you know, I mean it. I wouldn't say things lightly. Listen, I gave this show a 9.5 out of 10, which is real high for Natalia.
High.
That is real high. So you should watch it. It was on Netflix when I watched it, but I think it's on Viki now. I don't know where it is. You'll find it. It's popular. It's a popular show. If you haven't seen it, it's a popular show.
So speaking of like poster photo shoots, as far as what got me to watch Hyena, it was the poster photo shoot. So I will preface, because I don't want to have to revisit this yet again, but Hyena, the main big bad, is the pedophile actor. I apologize in advance. You still could probably skip it. You might miss out on some of the mechanics of it. That's really not the point, though. So, like, it's okay. You really don't have to watch him. Because the whole point is the other side all the people on the other side. So you have Kim Hae-soo. Like, that's reason enough to watch something. But then you throw Joo Ji-hoon in there. And this is not a spoiler. This is first episode, first 15 minutes, okay? There's kind of this really meet-cute whirlwind romance situation. And, like, timing at the laundromat, like, oh, they just seem like this really cute couple. They start dating. It's this whole thing. Eventually, who shows up in the courtroom to be his opposing lawyer person?
Of course.
She does. And she stole information from him in order to win.
Wow.
Okay.
And he does not lose, and he just lost bad. And he is of course is not very happy, and he's heartbroken. And she is wearing the fancy watch that he gave her pretty much as like a couple presents.
Oh,
I mean,
she's
it's a whole
rubbing
thing.
salt into
That's
the
so
wound.
fun.
Listen, we say it often. We're here for women's rights and women's wrongs, friend.
Indeed.
So, like, she had portrayed herself as this very moneyed, posh, like, girlfriend type, and she is a lawyer, and she is cutthroat, and she wears tracksuits, and a really cool, like, purse case situation. It's very interesting. Anyway, really, really fun, because, of course, they have to end up working together, and they hate each other's guts so bad. So bad. And there's so much chemistry, and that it's just really funny. There are pratfalls, but there's also, like, a lot of fighting. It's really intense. Again, you can really ignore the big bad guy. Who cares? Like, meh. But it is very, very fun. I have rewatched it, ignoring the pedophile. It was still good. So, like, I stand by. You can just watch it without that guy in it. Because, really, do you really need the specifics of corrupt bad person? Okay.
Yeah,
like,
we get it, okay?
Sure.
This is a Korean legal drama. Of course, there's gonna be a corrupt, rich, bad person.
And it's like, when that character keeps bringing them in to, like, threaten them. Okay, got it. Like, do you really need to hear the specific? Not really. What's fun is, and then, of course, you have a team of people on the legal team that, like, kind of ragtag people. It's just really fun. And it's really fun to see the mashup of kind of the moneyed company lawyer types, and then you have her and her assistant and then they have their own little law office for a while, and it's a very thrifted, like, very dusty type place, and then, but do they fall in love again? I don't know. I can't tell you. I can't tell you.
Gotta
But it is fun. It is very fun. I do recommend ignoring the dude, but, like, it is really fun. I don't remember where it was. I feel like it was Netflix. It might be.
I think it's
I'm on the
Netflix.
page. Let me see.
Like, I'm pretty
Netflix.
sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
It says Netflix on my MDL. We're gonna pretend like that's it.
I feel like I always saw it there.
Great actors, like, just the whole cast. You're gonna be like, oh, I know all these people. You do. All those people, you do know them. So,
all these people. Congratulations.
but it is really fun because there's how many? So it's a 16 episode. 10 episodes of that is just a lot of wanting to murder each other, kind of, but also having to be on
You're
the
like
same team.
real into the enemies to lovers.
Yeah, so, like, if you like the enemies to lovers trope,
it's a good
you
trope.
must at least visit this drama. Like, you must at least go see it. It's a good time.
Okay, I gotta, like, say one more from me, because we've done a drama with Chansung, we've done a drama with Tech, we gotta round it up with a trio, gotta have a Junho one, and he happens to be in the one that he plays a lawyer in. It's called Confession. I don't think a lot of people have watched this drama. I don't think it had much, like, popular fact behind it when it came out, but I thought it was a really good drama. It's essentially about Junho's character who his dad is committed for murder, and he doesn't believe that he murdered anyone, so he becomes a lawyer so that he can try to get his dad out. So he's picking up all these cases to, like, fund his life, but, like, really all of his like focus and research and stuff is on like what happened with his dad. And his upbringing, he got really sick when he was young, so he's like mostly in and out of hospital, so like there's a lot of stuff that he doesn't know about his dad just because he was so sick and like in one spot for a very long time. But that plays into the entire story, and so there's like a lot of like things that like happen. I think this is one of Junho's, like, he does great in every role, but I think he was just like really good in this one. I really enjoyed like every second of it. It is very much crime thriller based. And it just like takes you on a ride, and you're just trying to figure out like, you know, is this like person that's coming to like show up at their like hole in the wall like law office, you know, just in a random building, like they're, you know, the building's falling apart type thing. Are they like there because they are wanting a job, or are they there because of other things? And so it kind of like keeps you guessing too. But it's really good.
That sounds good.
I think one, probably my last one would be Extraordinary Attorney Wu. 2022 drama about an autistic attorney and getting her first job in a law office. And again, doesn't go real hard into the like dark side of things, because they're not sure, the law office is not sure about her yet. She, you know, she can test really well, but can she do the work? They're not sure. So she's put on more, she's on one team, and she works on more cases that are a little less high stakes at this, you know, at this law office. Really well acted, very, very good, very interesting cases. Like, while they are low stakes, they're interesting, and sometimes the way that they solve the case works out, it is very interesting. It's, she has sort of a photographic memory, so they'll, you know, a witness will say something, and you'll see her sort of like flip through the pages in her brain, and she'll be like, nah, page 42, you said this, you know, or whatever, right? Like,
she goes through her mind palace library.
Yeah. And she loves whales, so there's sky whales, because she looks, you know, she's on the train and she looks up at the sky and sees clouds, and then she sees whales swimming through them, because she just loves whales, so she just sees them everywhere. So that's kind of fun. There's a very, very sweet romance with Teho from
Real
Surprise.
green flag fella.
Very, oh my goodness.
Real
so many
nice
green
guy.
flags. Just
real nice.
She, like, from what I understand, seeing, there was a lot of talk about it when it came out, about whether it was good representation or not. And what I did see from a number of people in the, like, autistic community were people saying, it's not my specific representation, but I think it's good representation. So it wasn't, you know, she's not meant to be all
a monolith.
Things, you know, like, she is a specific version of what autism could look like.
Autism comes in all colors and shapes and sizes. So
right, exactly. So, and it just, it's very good. It's very good look at some of the behind the scenes of what happens in a law office. The prejudice that she encounters, because people in the law office assume that she's a diversity hire kind of thing. Like, it's, you know, we're just patting her on the head, and she's like, no, I want to do my job. Please just let me work. So, and she does great. She's very good at what she does. And a really nice sort of like, you know, found family office clique there of friends and coworkers and stuff that happens, and just a very, very enjoyable drama that
it's a nice
not
little show.
Particularly high stakes, but very well put together.
I think also on the lighter lighter stakes end of things, Touch Your Heart.
I was just about to say that, especially because we like talked about it so much when it came out. Like, yeah, we have to say it.
But did they ever? Like, I was trying to think of the cases. Were there actually? Like,
I think he was doing like a lot.
Really, they were the center of that, right? Like, there was.
It was more
think
the
it was
law
more-
office dynamics. That
Yeah,
were
I think like he was
yeah.
like kind of more of a general. Like, if I remember correct, I think he was like probably doing a lot of like contract work, like writing up contracts and looking over contracts type. You know, not. But I feel like he did go on stand a couple of times, but they never showed it. It was like more of like that's when you would see her with like the office more because he wasn't in the office, so she was kind of focused because the whole point she's there, she's an actress and she's trying to like go for a role that she would be like a lawyer, so she wanted to learn what's like a law office is like, so she goes around and talks to everyone.
And she's a bad actress, which I think is the important.
And she had just had a scandal happen to her, so that's why she's also there. It's kind of more of like just like sit. Oh, you know what? Maybe he did a lot of divorces. Did he?
Man, I can't remember.
I don't even. Because there was the one.
Yeah, there was a divorce he was
like
working
a
on.
cougar lady or whatever who's like very into him, and she comes in for like all her divorces. So,
I will throw the specific names out. Lee Dong-wook and Yuen Ah. So like,
it was the Goblin parents. It was specifically made for them.
Yeah.
Which is
it was fun.
It was fun.
Also, the side characters were even fun. Like,
it's a good office drama. If you really like office dramas, you'd like this.
Yeah, I liked the vibes of it. It was light.
Very
random darkness for like 5 minutes. Onward.
Then it was like, never mind. We're not actually doing
bored
this.
with
We're not about that life. We're just gonna.
we're just gonna breeze on by that.
It was kind of like I just wish to remind you that this is a Korean rom-com. That's what it. Just by the way, this is a Korean rom-com, so you need to just be aware.
Just wanted to like stir up a little trouble
that in there for a minute.
halfway through. We just needed something.
Yeah, need a little something, you know,
A little something.
Yeah.
Another one I'm gonna bring up is Lawless Lawyer.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. It
One
is
of
not
my
like
coveted 10 out of 10s that I've given them this.
Ooh, really?
And truly, yes.
I think I've watched it twice, which I haven't even watched that many things twice. I will say, just to prep, it's about corruption. So like if that's like not your cup of tea, nah. But like it is about dark corruption matters. So you got Lee Jung-gi, you have So Ye-ji, and then you have So Ye-ji, and then you have Lee Hae-young, which Lee Hae-young has so like she's always so good, but she is the scariest corrupt judge in this show.
Oh, she's terrifying.
She is so scary. Like, you think, oh, she can't get scarier. And then, nope, the next episode she manages to get even scarier.
Remember how evil she was in Boys Over Flowers? Just take that and make it actually mean something to society at large. And you're like,
she'll just end people like it's nothing. Like, you know, hitman after somebody just like it's nothing. Like, she just does not care. But it's so fun. There's fighting. There's romance. But it's mostly about fighting corruption. Like, that's mainly what we're up to. The soundtrack is amazing.
Great
I can never overemphasize that. Also, like, a little bit enemies to lovers. It's not like it's insta-love by any means with the two leads. Like, that's always fun. They're bickery. Because that's what lawyers do. They like to bicker. Especially when you're both lawyers. Like, that's kind of the thing. I would... Like, if you have, they eventually become a couple lawyers, like, characters, like, they're gonna start off bickering. There's no way that they're gonna just be, like, buddies to start off. Like, that just usually, if it's a romancy one. The romance is light in it, but it is there. Like they go on like maybe a date and a half or something. Like, I mean, it's really not the emphasis. But revenge is the emphasis. Take down the bad people. But yeah, I had to bring that one up.
She's a lawyer in Love to Hate You, right? Is she?
Yeah, I was Love to Hate You is the next one I was going to bring up. Like,
sorry.
I don't.
I was just trying to think of like episodes that we've like or live streams we've done, and I was like, oh yeah,
yeah. Like, I don't think it's like. I was trying to think of because I can't think of it now. But when you gals were talking about some specific other legal dramas and very specific instances, it would remind me of small parts of Love to Hate You, because I'm trying to remember the aspects of. It's not like, oh, she's just a lawyer, but I think a lot of contract negotiations is I think what she typically did.
Yeah,
it was like a entertainment lawyer, like she
entertainment.
Was like
But does she do stuff with maybe the one older lady who works at his entertainment company who's like going through a divorce, right? Does she do the divorce?
They're like a high profile full service client law firm.
Yeah.
So like
I think it's like more of like you have like a
you hire the firm, not the lawyer.
Lawyers for you, and you always have them at retainer, and they but mostly entertainment people.
Yeah.
And then it even shows her getting hired onto that lawyer company too. Like
that's right. Because she's like
hiring
the only female there in that position.
Pretty. It was very much boys like.
No, I think I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
And they thought they'd like get away with stuff with her, and she's like, no. Like.
But then they all like go like
to mess with me.
Like just they're silly stupid. So then it's like they're not. That's fine.
Yeah. So yeah, they're like, it was kind of, I guess, it was kind of more office side a little, like, you know, it was kind of just more full service client stuff type lawyer. But yeah, I mean, that's an aspect of it. And as far as how it comes into play with like the lead characters and stuff, like they start off contract training relationship. So like contract negotiations, things. So
yeah,
she was very serious about that. I do want to mention Taxi Driver. It is not a legal drama, but one of the main characters is a prosecutor. So like she's kind of like the, you know, you have all the people kind of doing unlawful things for good reasoning. And then you have the prosecutor that's slowly figuring out what they're up to. So she's the one that's slowly figuring out what they're up to. So you see her side of, and it's not just her, also like she has another prosecutor guy that gets in the mix and stuff to his detriment. But like, it's a whole thing. So it's every episode, like she's trying to do her prosecutor stuff, and she's doing a good job, but like when you're up against really smart people with a bazillion disguises, you're gonna struggle a little bit. But I did like how competent she was and stuff. Like, it's not to negate, like, her character was really good. But so she is one of the prosecutors that feels a little bit more detective-y than, like, you know, a lot of the other stuff. I was just gonna say, sometimes I find it difficult with some of those types of roles. Like, it's hard to, like, prosecute. It's like, where is the detective line? Because I remember the first time or two and I can't remember what dramas they were, but the first time or two I was like, because I was expecting prosecutor and I was expecting just lawyer, you know, just in the courtroom moment. And then all of a sudden they're like chasing after somebody. And I'm like,
it's like kind of interesting. I think that like must be like entertainment wise, like more favorable to like Korean audiences to see that side. But like here in the US, you would see a lot more of the actual like courtroom stance.
Like if there was a Law and Order Korea, it wouldn't be two separate teams. It would just be the team. You know, like it would just be one team probably.
Maybe that's because we have jurors as well, so we have like added more. Yeah, because it does tend to be just like following what the prosecutors are finding in their investigations, which lawyers do that, but like in a not as copy way, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
It's more of like paper trails and just like boring stuff. But like, yeah.
But if you don't like cops, my final suggestion is a real ACAB situation. And it's a movie, and it's on Tubi, which means, A, you only have to spend 2 hours watching it because it's a 2-hour movie, and B, you can watch it for free because it's on Tubi. And that's the 2017 incredible film, New Trial, which follows a lawyer and his client. So the lawyer's played by Jung Woo, and his client is Kang Han-nol. Absolutely incredible acting. Oh, and guess who plays Kang Han-nol's mom? That's right, Kim Hae-suk, the mom of all moms. So basically, Kang Han-nol's character was the witness to a murder when he was like a teen, okay? And then he goes to the cops to tell them, I witnessed a murder. And then they pin the murder on him. And so he goes to jail. And then he gets out of jail and just wants to live his life, having spent years in prison, being like, I didn't do the crime. But guess what? Like, real shitty to be an ex-con in a small town. You know what I mean? So things are not great for him. Meanwhile, you have this, like, a big city lawyer who's just lost a massive suit worth a lot of money. So he's been kind of exiled. So he goes to like a new firm and is put in charge of the pro bono law services at this firm. And so takes this case to bring his trial to retrial to prove that he was set up. And when I tell you this is a hard watch, okay?
Isn't it? It is based on a true story.
It's a true story. It
like
is based on a true story.
Thing from the 2000s.
Yeah. So, like, this did happen to people. And it makes it very clear in the movie that this happened to many people. That this was just, like, a thing cops did, was, like, pin shit on poor people. Imagine. So, that's something that definitely doesn't happen with all cops everywhere. But I digress. But it's an incredibly hard movie to watch, but it's an incredibly good movie at the same time. And I think it's fantastic.
I'd forgotten about that one. I don't remember.
People would enjoy.
I guess I watched it for the Kim Hae-suk episode.
Well,
hey, we did an episode of Kim Hae-suk.
Yeah, we did. You should check out that episode. But New Trial is incredible. I think a lot of people would really like it, even though it is an incredibly sad movie.
Yeah, I think it's also just comedy. Like sadder because you know it's
no
real.
Comedy. Yeah, you know that this actually happened. It's like watching Silenced, right? Where you're like, this is an incredibly sad movie, and they're like, oh, this actually happened.
This really happened to a little kid.
And Gong Yu had to spend his own money to get this movie made because nobody wanted to touch it. Even sadder. You should also watch Silenced if you can stomach it. Trigger. It is also a legal film.
Yeah, it's illegal. I mean, like, he's a teacher in it, though. So, like, there is that. But he does his own investigation.
It goes to trial, but it does deal with pedophilia and sexual assault of children. So, like, keep that in mind if that's something that, you know.
Especially because it's true. Like, everything that goes on.
Legitimately did happen. Yeah. But yes. But 2 excellent films. Hard to watch excellent films. But sometimes the most excellent films are really hard to watch. So.
That's true.
But, like, they're true stories, so it's, like, it's hard, but, like, we should know about these.
Yeah.
We should sweep them under the rug.
Exactly.
So for tonally something completely different than those very, very incredibly serious and important things.
Ended on a fun note.
Bring us back up.
I will say this is not a legal drama, but one of the lead characters is a lawyer. So I want to say it because it's another Nam Goong Min show. I can't not mention beautiful Gong Shim.
Beautiful Gong Shim. One of my favorite dramas. Beautiful Gong, and my mom's favorite drama. She loves that. She loves Nam Goong Min. Okay, big fan.
It does come into like you see him. do we see him in court at all?
Yes, the show opens with him in court being a bit of a shit to a child in court. And it really,
so his character is a bit of a shit in general. Like, that is kind of his thing. He wears tracksuits and flip-flops. Like, that is his entire personality, kind of. But it's really not a law drama. Like,
it's a comedy. It's a corporate business.
Also, does he have superpowers of reflexes?
He kind of has superpowers. It doesn't
pertain to anything.
They really don't stay with that plot thread. But he does have superpowers, but they kind of forget that he has superpowers 4 episodes in. But he does.
And then he just does it for party tricks sometimes. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, he just does it for
but
shit.
He does run a law office, and it's kind of more like pro bono type stuff. And he will do things, and he is kind of involved with sketchy people, usually to do things for them and kind of help clean them up and stuff. But as far as it is an enemies to lovers a little bit, so right off the bat she misinterprets his involvement with these kind of sketchier guys, which come to find out he's helping them and things like that. But it's all pretty funny. It is very rom-com, emphasis on com.
Heavy on the rom and the com.
On the com. And also the sister character is a lawyer, isn't she?
She is. She's an asshole too.
We do not like her. We do not like her the whole time. I don't care that they try to give her they don't even really try. They don't even really try to give her a redemption. They're just
she sucks.
Not how that works.
Worst. She's the worst.
And as far as why should you watch it? Well, lots of reasons. But it's just a good old time. And
I know we're not really selling it by talking about how terrible these characters are, but
actually, but that's kind of the fun part. The reality is none of them are perfect people by any stretch of the imagination, and that's kind of the charm of the show. It's a really good time. I also want to just mention, a couple of other non-legal dramas, but kind of have lead characters that are lawyers, but it might not come into play much just because of the drama itself. Meet Me at 1006 is a Taiwanese drama. One of the lead characters is a lawyer. You do see him do a little bit of lawyering, but that is not the crux. Time travel is the crux of what's happening. Serial killer ? Maybe a little. So as far as that's kind of where the lawyering comes into, he kind of knows how to find some of those cases and things. But it's mostly romancy, time travel, parallel moments. And just because it's currently a thing. My Sweet Mobster. One of the main characters is a prosecutor, and we do see him prosecuting and his little prosecutee team a lot. You see it every single episode so far. But it is not a law drama.
It is very much just a rom-com. But it is, if that's what you're into, it is very fun.
But when you do have one of them being a reformed mobster, and then at the other end of the triangle you have prosecutor. Prosecutor's always trying to be prosecutey about things, so it's a thing. It does come into play. And as far as that might be some people's first interaction kind of with the whole I think what's funny is if you have watched enough law dramas, you kind of have these, when you do see the prosecution team, you have the main prosecutor, then you usually have kind of a guy that doesn't really want to work that hard, and he's kind of silly sometimes. And then you have usually a gal, and she's really good at her job and super competent and kind of no nonsense. That's the stereotypes that you often see with it. That's not always, but you usually kind of get a mix of those.
And that's the stereotypes you see here. So
So, but yeah. I will reiterate. Beautiful Gong Shim is a fun, but it's not a law drama. But I had to say it because he is a lawyer.
I just love that show.
That's what it is. He's a prosecutor in Connection too. I was like,
they're airing at the same time.
Yeah,
he's playing a prosecutor in both of them. Yeah.
Which show is it? And I'm searching for it. Yeah, it's just who he does.
Why not? Man, live your life. Listen, he loves playing that role. Live your life, sir. Live your life.
Oh, wow. So Kwan Yol, I see. He's prosecuted it up, huh?
Yeah.
Listen, he had some bills to pay, so he was
might
give
as
me a
well.
role that my face is born for. And they said, prosecutor who ain't getting no girl. Like, listen, I'm not spoiling anything. It's very obvious from the first 4 minutes of the show who's ending up with who. I'm not ruining anything, okay? It ain't him. It's never him. It's never been him in the history of anything I watched with him in it. He's like, I'm not interested in that life.
Shows up, you're like, well, I know who the second lead is.
Yeah, I know. Either like when he shows up, you're like, second lead, villain. Second lead or villain. He ain't getting no girl, okay? Like if he does, it's for like 10 minutes.
But it's always like a near miss. It's always like, but if the lead didn't exist. Maybe.
Yeah, he'd be such a great option, but unfortunately,
maybe.
Yeah, hard perhaps. You know, like the lady thinks about it for like a second, and then she's like, "Oh wait, never mind."
It's always you're such a great guy.
Yeah, like you'd be so nice in another life, you know.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for you, I've got sip cheekbones over here. Just absolutely kill it. I love Sweet Mobster. I can't get enough. I'm sorry. I know we're not actually talking about Sweet Mobster, but I'm really enjoying Sweet Mobster quite a bit.
He's fun as a prosecutor in that. He's really
very
is.
fun.
Yes.
He's a delight. A delight who ain't it, sir. Ain't it.
But he tries. He's so earnest. He attempts.
Does he try?
We talked a lot of law.
We did.
By the way, this is not an exhaustive list. There's a lot of other ones.
There's probably like 30 other dramas with lawyer
absolutely.
in the title that we just never.
Yeah, I've even watched other legal dramas but like the other one I got on my list, I'm like, nah, I'm not even gonna.
I mean, like I watch mostly crime thriller. A lawyer shows up at one point all the time.
There's always a lawyer or prosecutor somewhere, you know, like.
But yeah, if you do have any suggestions or anything, like you can find us on pretty much any social media, but we're primarily over on Twitter, Instagram, as well as like you can hit up our email address at certifiednoonas@gmail.com. We also do have a Discord, so like if you're into that type of thing, just let us know and we can make sure that you can hop onto our server. It's really chill. It's fun. If you would like to support this podcast, we do have a Patreon. We call our supporters Found Family because that's what they are to us. And so we really love them and we enjoy their support. If you want to shoot us $1 or $2, we do have like extra stuff. We do movie nights and things like that. We try to keep it fun over there. As far as you're obviously listening to us somehow, but we are on YouTube, so you can see us in Technicolor over there. But anywhere podcasts can be found, you can download us. Also, our website, we already said certifiednoonas.com, but you can listen there. We do have like time codes and things like that. All of our episodes. So we're kind of everywhere. We're easy to find.
Yeah, we make it so simple.
It's easy.
It is easy.
And definitely wear a mask. Stuff's going around.
You want to
my nurse husband, his coworkers are starting to be out of work with illness. It is the main variants are getting everybody right now.
The fun part is I actually do wear a mask everywhere, but I have no immune system. So think about how awful I sound right now. And just think, I don't want this to be me. You know, just choose life, friends.
So that's always our masking and washing hands PSA, and don't cough on people. It's gross.
Don't do that.
And hey, maybe watch a law drama. There's for all types. There's all different types of law dramas. We have talked about a lot of different kinds. So I think there can be one for you. And again, if we missed one that you love and you want to tell us about it, kindly let us know what it was. We would love to hear about it.
Leave a comment on YouTube, tweet at us. Go to our Discord and say, yo, you forgot my favorite show. We'll be like, damn, we'll check it out. You know?
Bad.
And if you are on YouTube, like and subscribe or whatever. I think we're supposed to tell people to do that. Apparently. No.
So, go watch a legal drama for us. It'd be fun. Let us know. Okay,
All right.
have a good day. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.